ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 13 of the Formula 1 World Championship season with me, Siwariso, here in F1 2020 with the Michael Schumacher, my career mode. So, we had a very interesting last outing at Silverstone where we didn't quite get the points, the result that I kind of hoped for. I'm still a little bit slightly soured by Red Bull kind of cheating and hitting under the safety car and then serving a 5-second penalty under that safety car as well. But anyway, it's in the past. We've got to focus and turn our attention to this weekend here at the Hungary here in Budapest for round 13 of the championship. A circuit where may not suit our car, really. The downforce issues and the chassis kind of issue, not issues as such, but the how far off the pace we are with our chassis and aero development compared to the other teams around us is going to be pretty telling, I think.
I've had a chat with Carl about the new parts and we're happy that they've been integrated into the car okay. With any luck, you'll be able to feel the improvement, so give them a try.
I hope what few parts we have added will give us some improvement. I think the only thing we've added is the ERS, isn't it? And maybe a tiny little bit of weight reduction. But anyway, I went through the practice programs, got all my research points done. I think I've hit acclaim, nearly almost at acclaim level 10 now. So Michael's progressing very well. We're going to head into qualifying where things are going to be really telling. Across the practice sessions, we weren't great, I'll be honest, speed-wise. Even when I did the usual qualifying program, we weren't quick. Again, I'm wondering if there's a few teams that have brought some upgrades to us, and we're starting to get left behind a bit now in the R&D tree. Again, a lot of that is because we're limited by our facilities. There's a lot of branches that we can't branch off into and get upgrades because we don't have the facilities. The level 2, level 3 facilities needed to produce those parts. And because of the fact that most of our facilities are only level 1, we're not actually accruing a lot of research points between races. You know, the weekly resource points income is not fantastic. So, we need to try harder. But anyway, we weren't expecting to win things in the first season. Everything that's come our way so far has just been a massive bonus to the team, and obviously a great example of Michael's talent and ability to bring a car that's perhaps not as good as it should be up by the bootstraps. Very similar to what, Lewis Hamilton can do. He can, with his ability in real life, he can take a car that's not great, as we've saw in the past with the McLaren, and get some race wins with it. And even on an off day in the Mercedes, he can sometimes pull that Mercedes up to overachieve. But anyway, we've done our first lap in qualifying, and that was good enough for third in Q1. Again though, 1.2 seconds from Vettel's fastest lap time. Interesting, the two Mercs not really up there. Perez is up there, Lance Stroll is up there in the tracing points, obviously. So the tracing points have actually gone round Hungary faster than the Works Mercedes. That's interesting. And then we've got Max, Charles and Ocon. Obviously Charles is important to watch because he's our rival at the moment. He's our new rival that we've got to beat. So we'll have to see how that goes into Q2 and Q3. But I suppose the most important thing is Q1. You're just making sure you're in that top 15, aren't you? You don't want to get knocked out. So we'll head into Q2. Obviously, I'm going to put myself on the medium compound to do this race and see how things go. Again, got to make sure we're in the top 10 here by the end of the session. But at the same time, we don't want to take too many laps out of these tyres. That was very wide exit. That wasn't great on my part. I'm slightly struggling on this circuit, I have to say. The setup I went for might still be a little bit... I might not quite have enough front downforce. I might just need to jack the front downforce up a little bit more prior to the race start. It's been something I've been working on, was working on through practice, but yeah, the car just, the front end at times is just not quite where gripping to the circuit. It's a little bit too much understeer. So certainly for the race start, jacking up that front wing angle. Can't do it now in qualifying because of obviously part firme. So I've kind of just got to drive what we've got, but before the race starts I can tweak on and add on some extra front wing, which might just give me what I want from the car. Across the line. Let's see where that puts us on the magic Q2 table. Down in 7th come the end of the session, which is well, it's into Q3, but as you can see, we've now been leapfrogged by Lewis, Bottas, Leclerc, Verstappen. There's only Perez who hasn't improved, and he's disappeared from the timesheets, but still made it in the top 10 though, eventually. Right, so Q3 then. Obviously not going to mess about here. Soft tyres is the way to go. Whoa! There's a bit of a mistake. On the warm-up lap from me. Wide there. But make up for it by being able to carry a little bit more speed. Nearly missed the corner there. This is a bit scruffy from me. Bit scruffy. So it's a relatively short lap, short circuit this, but it's all flipping corners. It's all corners, which is very frustrating to drive on, I'll be honest. That's not a great lap time, no. That's put me down in 6th place at the minute currently.
1:15.7.
So you know what I'm actually going to do? I'm actually going to do something very rarely do, and that's go out for a second run on a brand new set of tyres right at the end of qualifying. See if I can improve that time at all, because 6th place just feels wrong to me. It just feels wrong. And the only thing I can say is we have definitely lost a lot of car advantage. I think other teams now have really made some upgrades in the last 2 races. At Silverstone and then here in Hungary, they've brought some new toys to the table. And usually our max engine mode and hot lap ERS deployment in qualifying was good enough to put us right out of, quite out of position really at the top of the timesheets. But to be 6th place all of a sudden, from being on the front row of the grid in qualifying down to 6th, shows that the other teams around us have made some steps to bring some new parts to their cars. So although they may have been sleeping in the first half of the season, right at the beginning of the season, when we kind of got a bit of a jump on them in terms of development and adding new bits, they're starting to catch up now. And the worrying thing is those teams that are catching up have got way better facilities than me back at their factories, which means they're going to be bringing a lot better parts and more frequently bringing parts now that I'm just not going to be able to match. So for Haas F1, they're going to have to do some do some investment in the off season at the end of the year to upgrade some facilities to allow us to open up our car development. And I'm still in 6th place. I could not improve my lap time.
Finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top 3: Bottas, Leclerc and Max Verstappen.
Even on that second run, I could not improve.
That was an exciting race from our perspective. Let's have yours. It's got to be a relief to qualify that far up the grid.
I'm going to give a bit of a shout out to the engine department, even though we didn't really qualify where I expected. Yeah, the result wasn't quite ideal.
What was it you weren't happy about?
I'm going to blame the chassis department for this one. I think our wheelbase didn't really feel right for the track. That's it. Blame the chassis department. Ruin their morale. And Leclerc beat me in the rivalry. He out-qualified me. So, 1 point lead to Charlie Leclerc. Right. That doesn't bode well for me if he's going to beat me in qualifying every race now. For the next 6 races. But we'll go into the race knowing that again, right, anything can happen in the race.
Successful qualifying, we should be in with a good chance in the race.
Should indeed. Should indeed. Right, let's give it a go. Again, a good start from me though is definitely going to help matters.
It's race day in Budapest as we get ready for another round of the Formula One World Championship. We don't expect too many retirements at this track. There are plenty of current and former drivers with flawless finish rates here. In particular, Ralf Schumacher. He made it across the line in all 10 of his Hungarian Grand Prix starts. We're northeast of Budapest for the race today at the 2.7-mile Hungaroring circuit. 14 corners here, 8 to the right and 6 to the left, on a track where downforce is king and passing is notoriously difficult.
Yeah, only having the one DRS zone here sucks.
For the race today. Let's talk about Schumacher. That was a great podium in the last race. So can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Vettel, Schumacher, and Stroll, Grosjean, Perez, Norris, and Carlos Sainz, Leclerc, Kvyat, Pierre
Hang on a minute,
Gasly,
Leclerc got a
and
10-place penalty.
Giovinazzi, Raikkonen,
Leclerc got a
Alexander
10-place
Albon,
penalty.
and Nicolas
That
Latifi,
means he didn't
Ocon,
out-qualify me.
Daniel Ricciardo
That
fills the
means
last spot
I
on
won the
grid.
rivalry for
Now,
qualifying.
It's almost time for lights out, so
The
let's go
game's
down to the
jipped
track.
me again. It's giving him 2 points, but he's got a penalty because he's
Now that
taken
we've got
extra
some points on
parts.
the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
They're out to get me, as Lewis Hamilton would say. I'm being ripped off here by the if he's taken extra parts, he's cheated, and then he's sort of taken his penalty and finished, and he's actually behind me. So technically, I won qualifying. I should get the extra point. I should get the bonus point for that. Scumbag. Yeah, we're going to do medium hards. I think that's the race strategy for me. I'm not going to risk going on to the softs at the end. Right. Good start. Good start. Okay, we passed the Ferrari. We're going between the Mercedes and the Red Bull. And then we're going to go around Billy Bottas on the outside of turn 1. And that's me up to first place. So beast mode, race start, is again working well for me. I'm so good at starting. So good at starting. Where I make most of my overtakes is in that first 100 yards off the line. You know? But the one thing I'm going to be doing in this race, which is a little bit different to the previous races, I'm not just going to go flat out rich mix from the start until I've burnt off all my excess fuel and then turn the engine down. I'm going to do kind of like I've done at the end of the last 2 races, like I did at the end of Austria and the end of Silverstone, where I'm going to be turning the engine up and down throughout the lap. So like on a section of the track like this, where it's long, straight, heavy on the acceleration, run rich mix. And then through these bendy, twisty parts, put it back to standard. And then again, start and finish line coming up, whack it into rich mix. I'm hoping that will give me a bit of a speed, will give me more speed over more laps. And will make me a little bit harder for the AI to catch and possibly overtake by basically using the rich mix as an extra bit of boost, you know. Use the DRS, the ERS should I say, and then the rich mix to give me an advantage over more of the lap by alternating them in different areas. Because I'm probably not going to get DRS unless I'm behind a car. And I'm hoping I won't be behind anybody. But yeah, couldn't have asked for a better start. This is perfect. Got the jump. Got to the front by the first turn. What a launch. And now it's just about just managing the pace. Looking at some of the guys, obviously Bottas, Verstappen and Vettel, they're on the soft tyres, so they're going to be boxing before me.
Great work.
In this race.
That's a new fastest lap of the race.
Hamilton's on the medium, so he's probably the guy I'm going to be looking out for. I'm going to keep an eye on, because he's going to be going the same length into the race as me, unless he runs into any issues. I did add the extra bit of wing. I did add the extra bit of wing at the start, so...
To manage this, we'll need to lower our ERS deployment mode.
Okay, we're starting to get some engine warnings, which is a bit weird because I did look at engine 2 and honestly it didn't look that bad. Engine wear wise, I thought it was all pretty solid green. I mean, I've only been using it for Saturday and Sunday. I've been using engine 1 for Fridays, so I can't believe it's already kind of worn out. And it's all the kinetic energy recovery system
Our battery
stuff
charge
that's...
speed is suffering, and if it gets much worse, we could be forced to retire.
Jeff, you're not filling me with confidence here, Jeff. I might have to look at doing... there's 2 bits of the engine we've got to do durability upgrades on anyway. The ICE and... not the ICE, the control electronics and something else. We may then need to go and do the kinetic and the turbo type stuff. Stuff that's basically in charge of your energy recovery. Because that does seem a little bit fragile if those parts are worn and are affecting my performance at this stage. Because this is only, like I say, round 13, is it? Round 13 of the championship? I'm trying to think when I started I can't remember when I started using engine 2. But I'm pretty sure we did like the first 6 races of the year on like engine 1. I mean, as far as gearboxes go, our gearbox has been very reliable. We've not had to take any kind of penalties.
Green flag. Green flag.
Oh,
We're racing
Bottas is
again.
out of the session. What's happened to
Okay,
Billy
clear.
Bottas?
We're leading our teammate by 7.
I mean, apart from he's failed to finish another race, which is obviously going to be making Mercedes very unhappy. Bottas has failed to finish again. We'll check that out at the end of the race. We'll have a look at the race replay at the end of the race, see what happened to him. See whether it was a mechanical failure or whether he's had a bit of a biff with somebody. Maybe Verstappen. But then he's carried on, so surely if he'd had contact with another car, they would have boxed. Which none of them have done. A little bit wide and untidy. Sometimes it's a little bit hard for me to change like the the fuel mix mode on the steering wheel and try braking into a corner and steering at the same time. I suppose you should really be playing with the car settings when you're on a straight and not in a braking zone. Yeah, race is going very well. Just pulled out a little bit of a lead. Kind of stretching the gap a little bit to the cars behind me in this early phase. Grosjean's in for his pits, so one of the soft tyre runners is already here on lap 7 having to call it a day. So I can't imagine Mr. Verstappen and Mr. Vettel are going to have too many more laps ahead of them on their soft tyres, which will then leave Hamilton and Norris as the podium men behind me on the track. Nice to see Norris up here. He's not been having he's not done very well in qualifying. He started most races from way down the field, but he's a good driver, and it's a shame that McLaren haven't yet provided him the tools to be truly competitive in the midfield. Yeah, Vettel's pitted, Vettel's boxed this lap, so that just leaves Mr. Verstappen as the man trying to go a bit further into this race, but I imagine he's probably coming in this lap, is he not? He can't be going too much further on them soft tyres. That's going to make it this a two-stop race, is it, for some of these guys? Because they're not going to be able to get a set of mediums or hards to the end of the race from here. 35 lap race, stopping on lap 8 or earlier.
We think the car behind might be struggling with fuel issues. See if you can increase the gap.
Oh, is that Verstappen? Is he running a bit too much rich mix? And he's going to have to go lean. I'm trying to stay with me, and he's been burning off all his fuel. And he's boxed. So that's got rid of him. So yeah. Hamilton, Norris, Sainz. So all the guys that started on the mediums have risen to the top of the pecking order. The guys who started the race on softs have had to go very early for their pit stop. Gasly's up there. Amazing to see Gasly here in the race at this point, because again, he's another guy that's been very unlucky with DNFs and getting taken out, getting crashed out of races by guys. You know, in Silverstone he never made it to the first corner. He got took out by his own teammate, along with Kimi Raikkonen. After Verstappen, it was Verstappen that shunted Kvyat and caused just a concerto then of collisions. Just looking at that pit menu, you know, I'm just thinking to myself, if I could take these tyres in quite a bit deep into this race, could I effectively pit for soft tyres and be just completely on a different strategy to everybody else? Because all the other guys will be on hard tyres trying to go to the end of the race, and if I'm on the softs, ooh, that's going to be a massive pace advantage and grip advantage that I'm going to have. And it looks like these medium tyres are lasting forever and ever and ever. So there's nothing potentially stopping me from changing my strategy as the race goes on. Maybe going for a gamble onto the softs and trying to go take a set of softs to the end as my alternate tyres.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
Depends, really depends. We'll see what the race is like as we approach the pit window. We're a little bit early yet to be thinking about pit stops. And obviously we need to look at the times of the other guys, the gap to the other cars. It might be that I can actually play it safe and just pit with the strategy that we selected. Because I'm managing the race very well at this moment. Driving pretty consistent for me, I would say. I'm not too ragged. I've got into a rhythm. Just need to make sure we keep that rhythm going. I've pretty much pulled out a pit stop window now to everybody apart from Hamilton and Norris. I'm assuming that'll come. Norris will quit, might in the next couple of laps might fall into. I'll be able to come in and out ahead of him.
We're leading our teammate by 41.6 seconds.
41 seconds ahead of Grosjean. What is Grosjean playing at? How is he so far behind me in the same car? Norris is desperately trying to hang on to me. He's trying to keep that 8 second, in that 8 to 9 second range. But that might work to my favour because he's probably pushing his car a little bit hard and pushing his tyres a little bit hard.
Levels to start falling away soon.
I'm also going to run a lot of this race in lean mix now, I've decided as well. Because we've got the gap to the cars behind us at the minute, so even turn the engine down a bit on this short track to lower temperatures and lower the wear on some of those kinetic recovery system components and the energy recovery system. I think it's heat. I think when you read the tooltip in the engine menu thing, I think it says that excess heat causes higher wear on those components. You want to keep your engine cool, otherwise those parts can fail. And the last place you want those parts to fail will be at the next race in Spa, where obviously energy, I mean, you're going to need the energy recovery system to give you some good speed boost, because that's a fast circuit is Spa. And then after Spa we've got Monza, so a lot of fast circuits coming up.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the hards. Okay, the gap behind is 8.2 seconds.
Well, we're due to stop, what, about lap 17, I think it was? So we've got a couple of laps to just get our heads down. Make sure we definitely cover off Lewis and keep ahead of him. I mean, right now, if we pitted now, we would still come out ahead of Norris, Sainz, Gasly. That's not going to be a problem. So we've already built up a total pit stop to them.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up.
So yeah, despite not having, obviously, the absolute best one-lap pace, here in the race, pretty quick. In race trim, we're actually doing all right. Again, I'm probably slightly outperforming the car at this point. And obviously Michael's skill as a driver is going to make him extract a bit more out of this Haas than obviously what Grosjean can. But yeah, we're doing very well. Just keep it on the black stuff. I mean, we're not setting fastest laps. I'm not setting purple times. But I'm just being consistent with what I'm doing lap after lap after lap. And that seems to work. And we've now pushed Lewis to a 20-second gap, so
Push now. We're boxing this lap.
coming in the end of lap 17. I think Lewis is in this lap. Say. No, Sainz has pitted. Yeah, Lewis has pitted. Sainz has pitted. Gasly's pitted. Norris has stayed out, so Norris has actually got the hard task of having to do one more lap before his stop. Lewis has come out 28 seconds behind me now. Yeah, I'm not worried about Lando because he's going to be following me into the pits because his teammate boxed the lap before. For Hamilton, a little bit annoying for him, you have to say, is he's come out behind Verstappen. Which means Verstappen's going to be holding him up on older tyres because Verstappen boxed early from the softs to the hards.
Exit now.
My team's not quick on pit stops. 3 seconds every time.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
So Norris and Kvyat pit, leaving Verstappen and Hamilton now in the podium positions. Game on, as they say, now to the end of the race. We're all on the hard tyres, so that's it. Just a straight run now to the end of the race. Vettel's done the fastest lap. And then I take it off
Great
him,
work.
even though I
That's a
didn't
new
do
fastest lap of the race.
a fastest sector 1 and 2. I only did a purple sector 3, but that was enough, apparently, to give me that fastest lap back. Give me the extra point thus far that's on offer. All these corners and bends and no straights, this just feels like a go-kart track to me. You know, it doesn't feel like a Formula 1 track, it feels like a go-kart circuit. There's nowhere for you to really be able to put your foot down apart from the start-finish line. It's a bit disappointing. You don't just get to experience the pure speed Formula 1 on this circuit. It's a bit slow. 3 green sectors that time and another fastest lap from Michael Schumacher. He's getting up to pace now, he is. He's starting to like these hard tyres. They're probably up to temperature. He ought to be. They've been on for like 4 laps. But I'm starting to run slightly better lines. I'm starting to get a little bit better at some of the corners. Grosjean's pitting again.
Roman is in for his stop.
He's a 2-stopper. He's doing a 2-stop strategy. That's never going to help the team get points when you're doing 2 stops. Amazingly, Norris is still ahead of Vettel after the pit stop window. So Norris very well in 4th place at the minute. Round of applause for Lando. He's managed to do the overcut on Vettel. Again, Vettel sadly stopped very early because he started the race on softs, and Lando going that longer distance into the race on the mediums has put him ahead of the Ferrari. Whether he stays there till the end of the race is another debate, of course. But it would be nice if he could hold off the prancing horse and get 4th place, because Lando does deserve it.
The car behind is dropping back by about 3/10 a lap.
That's good. Verstappen's losing ground on us now. Also, I don't want to jinx things, but we ain't had a safety car yet, or a virtual safety car. We've only had the one non-finisher so far, which is Bottas. This race has actually been nicely run so far. We haven't had any interruptions like Silverstone with all the VSCs and stuff. That's definitely helped me out a lot here. Nice clean race from everybody so far. Oh, there's a car ahead of me. We've got back markers. Wow. I haven't really had to lap too many people this year. But here's my chance. It's going to be a Williams. It's either George Russell or Nicholas Latifi. I'll be getting blue flags. Yeah, there we go. Blue flags, blue flags. I'm in this twisty part of the section where I can't really gain on them. He's going to pull over and let me past. Well done. That was a good place to do it. He didn't lose too much time there, and I certainly didn't. That was nice of the Williams. Didn't help me set a fast lap though. Sadly, despite going purple in sector 1, I was slow in sectors 2 and 3. Green sector 1, that's good. So once again, I'm showing that I'm actually faster on the harder tyre than I am on the softer compounds. Green sector 2. I don't mess this up, this is going to be another fastest lap of the race. Not quite, not quite. Blew it in the last sector. Still, shows that I'm happier on the hard compound because I'm able to go faster on it than I am the softs. It's a shame you can't use hard tyres in qualifying, because I would definitely do Q2 on hards and start the race on the hards in a lot of cases, and then I would really have an advantage over the opposition. Again, green first sector, but obviously red second sector. Wasn't quick there. Bit scruffy through sector 2. And red through sector 3. Green sector 1.
Okay, we're reaching a danger point with the wear on the MGU-H. Overheating the engine will exacerbate the issue, so keep the temps under control.
MGU-H, that's the one. The engine temp's cool on the MGU-H. Don't run for long periods of time in rich mix. Again, despite being fast in sector 1, lost time in sectors 2 and 3. Can't improve my fastest lap at this time because I'm not nailing it. Probably obliterated the record at this moment in time. More back markers. Who we got this time? Hard to tell from this distance, got to get closer to him. I think it's a Renault. He's chasing after somebody. Yeah, it's a tracing point. A Renault and a tracing point. So that's Ocon and Stroll? Ocon and Stroll, I'm guessing. Blue flags are being waved. Blue flags, blue flags. Blue flags. Boards aren't flashing at the minute though, which would tell me that they're not actually getting blue flagged. He is now. I saw blue flags there. Blue flags, blue flags, blue flags. He's not pulling out of it, is it? Although he's moved over, he's not actually hit the brakes. I'm guessing because he doesn't want to lose too much ground to the tracing point, who's moved over a lot faster to let me by. I reckon Ocon there is going to get a penalty for that. Because he wasn't exactly making that easy for me to get by. He definitely kept his foot in. He didn't back off and let me go by on that straight. He was keeping his foot in so as not to lose ground on the tracing point. Can't do that. So that's a penalty for the Renault. That'll probably be 5 seconds. I mean, he's not in the races anyway, to be honest, if I'm lapping him at this point. And we've got another group of cars ahead. One of which is a Ferrari. Am I going to lap a Ferrari? And that would be Leclerc, because obviously Vettel's in 5th. So Leclerc's not having a good race. And I'm going to lap him. Possibly, maybe. Oh, wouldn't that be the ultimate kick in the teeth in the rivalry, that I actually managed to put a lap on him? I mean, it's not going to make up for the fact that obviously he got a bonus point for qualifying, even though he's cheated and used extra engine parts and then taken a penalty after qualifying. That's not allowed. Blue flags, blue flags. I think this is the other Williams. This is either, again, I think that's George. That's George Russell getting out of the way. Good boy, George. Now here comes the one. He's not going to like this. Leclerc's not going to like getting blue flagged here and having to let the Haas come past him. Oh. I think the other tracing point there. Is it the other tracing point in front of him? That Perez? That looks like there's 3 cars there. All having their private little ding-dong battle that I'm about to come and interfere with. Because they're going to have to... No, it's the other Renault. It's Danny Rick ahead of... Danny Rick ahead of Leclerc and then Perez ahead of Danny Rick. Ah, okay. Tell I'm getting racy because I'm starting to make mistakes now because I want to overtake them cars. I'm not thinking about just take it nice and steady. You're winning the race. No dramas, no risks. Don't do out stupid. I'm thinking, hey, I get to do some overtaking now. Let's do it. 2 laps to go to stick moves on these 3 cars. Into the braking zone. Nicely does it. Closing up on them all the time. At some point, the blue flags are flashing.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
Leclerc's had his blue flags. He's got to let me by. Next up will be Danny Rick. Danny Rick, you're going to have to let me by. He's moved over. Well done, Danny Rick. And then... Is it Perez or is it an Alpha? It might be an Alpha, actually, looking at the back of that car. It is an Alfa Romeo. That was...
The turbocharger is on its last legs. Let's try to keep mileage on it to a minimum.
Been a bit unfair there on Perez. But here we come. Coming round to start our final lap. Final lap of the Grand Prix. cars up ahead. Might be my teammate Grosjean and the other Alpha. But we're not going to get them. Not enough time. This race is done. We've picked up the win. Yeah. Good drive today. Race start was the key. Getting those 6 places right at the start before the first turn. And then obviously Bottas breaking down has done me a huge favour, or whatever happened to him. We will check that out. We will get the old race replay up after the race and have a look and see what happened to Bottas.
What a fantastic Grand Prix
Gunther's
that
happy.
was. And an excellent win for the Haas team.
Gunther's very happy.
Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Today was another great race and an even greater victory for Haas. Here they come now to step out onto the top of the podium. They'll be incredibly happy with today's result.
Lewis looks a little bit forlorn there, picking up 3rd place. I don't think he's a very happy bunny being behind the Red Bull. Max seems delighted.
Let's have a quick look at how the driver standings have changed. Schumacher increases their championship lead. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
But it's absolutely got to be
Ocon,
Alexander
5-second time
Albon. No
penalty look
hesitation. He put in
for
the
ignoring
performance
blue
today that's only
flags.
going to build further upon his already
Naughty
growing
boy.
reputation.
Let's move on to the Constructors.
Naughty
The gap
boy.
between Haas and the rest of the teams is extended yet further. Meanwhile,
Also
a strong
something a bit
weekend from
naughty,
Red
some of
Bull
these
this time
guys
out,
didn't use
and they
different
improved their
tyres.
position in the championship. And with that, we wrap up another
I
weekend
think
of
the AI
motorsport.
cheats
But
in
with
this
more
game,
races
you know.
lined up,
There was
be sure
definitely
to
a
join
couple of
us when
cars
we
there
come
that
back
haven't
with
used
more Formula One.
2 sets of different tyres. They went medium to medium. You're not supposed to do that. Anyway, here's the onboard with Max Verstappen, and there's Bottas just pulling over and parking up the car. That was a bit strange. Let's look at it from onboard Bottas. What's gone wrong there then with his car? Because I don't see a big puff of smoke or a big cloud of smoke coming off of it. So what's broken on his car there? It's not engine failure. The gearbox? Something's gone on his car though. Definitely mechanical. It wasn't a crash. It wasn't a collision. That was definitely Mercedes' unreliability that's cost him. And it really is costing him. Again, another DNF for Billy Bottas. Anyway,
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts.
we'll talk to Claire.
You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy?
Put to the floor the power unit can take it. It certainly can
What
off
do
the
you think
line.
made the difference between this weekend and last weekend?
Our focus, durability.
You're
We want to boost the
surpassing all
durability
expectations.
department's
Anything or
morale
anyone
because we're going to
stop
need
you?
them to do some upgrades on our MGUH and MGUK.
Things were close between you and your rival, but it looks like you're coming up top, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I beat him in the race. I lapped him. The only reason he beat me in qualifying was because he cheated and used
Appreciate
brand new parts, which he didn't get penalised for until the race start, when he gets a grid penalty. I think if you take new parts in qualifying, you should get penalised in qualifying. But I've got a 2-point advantage now with 5 races remaining. So I need to maximise. I've got to beat him in qualifying and the race, if I can. And we've got tough races coming up. We've got Spa, we've got Monza, we've then got Singapore and Sochi, which are not my favourite tracks. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. And then we head into the final part of the season. The good thing is, race 13 rounds down now. We've still got 1 brand new engine to bring into the mix. So, it's good. We're just going to do some upgrades, though, on some of the durability upgrades, which is a shame, because I would have liked to have invested my research points into the chassis, the major upgrade in the chassis department, and the couple of major upgrades we can do in the aero side of things, but that'll just have to wait. Priority first comes durability. See, there's a major upgrade there for intercooler positioning, which we kind of will want to hit. And then obviously in the aerodynamics, we've got major upgrade to the rear downforce. There's one there for the front, which we can't get yet. And there's one then for the drag reduction for barge boards. Be nice if we could get them in before the end of the season, if we can. But we will tick ahead. We've got the mid-season break coming up. And then the next race after that will be... we won't be developing any new parts, obviously, while the factory's shut. And then we'll be hitting the Belgian Grand Prix, which will obviously take place in the next video. So thank you everybody for watching today's video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please remember to hit that like button, leave your comments in the section down below, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to share this video everywhere you see fit, with everyone you possibly can. I've been Siwaliso. Goodbye for now.